This isn't 1991 and it isn't 2001. What a difference 20 years makes. The West is in shambles. Europe is imploding. America is bankrupt. You want to shift from sending all your money to the corrupt and steady losing army of Ukraine to now sending all of your money to the corrupt and steady failing army of Israel, as if your own people don't need that money. I mean, look, you just sent, America just sent warships over to Israel. Nothing could better show what a failure Israel is, what a failure U.S. policy has been with regards to Israel. I mean, even Ariel Sharon back in the day rightly stated that Israel was supposed to be America's warship in the Middle East, but now you have to send backup. I mean, you've been taken for a ride for decades now, the American people, pouring hundreds of billions of dollars to prop up a colonial project for all these years, and it still doesn't work. Netanyahu and his buddies have been eating your money. I mean, do you even know how many corruption charges there are against that man? And the only thing you can do to try to make any of this seem justifiable is to just lie by making up the most outrageous and absurd propaganda that no one who has ever ventured outside of their trailer park can believe. Hamas raped and murdered women. Hamas cut off the heads of babies. Come on. That just shows the way you think. That shows the way you operate. The only way that you can make yourselves look good, or make the Israelis look good, is by creating this cartoonishly fiendish image of Hamas, or any enemy that you want to fight. Because the truth is, no one is actually worse than you. So you invent all of these fanciful lies, you know. That girl, you know, who was supposedly dead and paraded half naked on the day that the Hamas incursion happened, and it went all around social media. You remember that? Well, she's alive and well in a hospital right now. Surprise, surprise. It's the Kuwaiti incubator babies all over again. You remember that? Supposedly, babies were ripped out of incubators in Kuwait by the Iraqi invading army, and it was all lies, concocted by a PR agency and the daughter of a Kuwaiti diplomat. Hamas doesn't rape women. You rape women. Hamas punishes people in Gaza for sex outside of marriage. What are you talking about? Hamas isn't ISIS. Hamas isn't Daesh. The lies are just too ridiculous. Your own people are not going to accept this much longer. Neither is anyone else. And I don't think even the people of Israel will accept this. The Hamas incursion, look, the Hamas incursion happened either because the, so-called hardline Netanyahu government was either incompetent or because they betrayed their own people and let it happen. So it was either incompetence or treachery. Those are the only two options to explain how this occurred. And neither one of those options gives Netanyahu any sort of future in Israeli politics. So look, it doesn't matter what you do. Like I said, if you insist on fighting the tide, you'll drown. You can have your war, you can scorch the earth all across the Middle East, and all that is going to do is think about it. All that's going to do is give Saudi Arabia and the UAE more power and influence. All that's going to do is create the conditions for the entire region to be rebuilt with money from the Khalij. I mean, Netanyahu and the Republicans, they want to turn this into a war against Iran. Well, Saudi Arabia wouldn't mind that at all. You'll just take out one of Mohammed bin Salman's only regional competitors for power. So you see, even by fighting the inevitable rise of the Muslims, you are doing nothing but expedite it. That's how fighting the inevitable works. And again, your support for Israel is going to exacerbate the problems inside your own countries. I mean, look at the pro-Palestinian protests that they had the other day in France, how the police had to tear gas those people. Because the same way that you have to rigidly control the media narrative about Palestine in order to get anyone to believe it, but social media is making that impossible, by the way. But the same way that you have to do that, you have to also rigidly control the public themselves. You have to crack down. You have to restrict freedom of speech. You have to repress your own people in order to be able to continue with your stance on Israel. Because like I said, no one is actually on board with this. Whether they're against it because they have a moral objection to supporting a brutal apartheid government, a brutal apartheid state, or whether it's because they're just sick of you sending all their money to help everyone else except your own citizens. People are fed up. This isn't going to work anymore. Why you can't do anything today that more instantly identifies you as an unthinking, hypocritical sellout than, changing your profile picture to the Israeli flag? I mean, if you do that, then I already know that you were one of those people who was probably wearing a COVID face mask during a Zoom call back in 2020. Because you're an automaton. You think whatever power tells you to think, and you have no internal value system of your own. And like I said, this approach is not going to enable you to dominate the transition to the global south. It's going to completely discredit you and ruin any chance you have of influencing how the new global economic order is shaped and how it develops. The Arab world is with the Palestinians. Africa is with the Palestinians. Latin America is with the Palestinians. Asia is with the Palestinians. And obviously 2 billion Muslims in the world, that's a 2 billion strong market, is with the Palestinians. And truth be told, your own public is mostly with the Palestinians. So if you decide to fight the inevitable, then you have decided from the outset to fail. The corporate factions, the business factions, the factions of the owners and controllers of global financialized capital, who will actually prosper in the coming decades, will be those factions who reflect and who do not conflict with the opinions and the attitudes of the global south. And that means being pro-Palestinian.